Welcome to AnimeFan Narrations, Solo Leveling, Episode 40, Chapter 89.
He had never been fond of magic beasts, but this one in particular stirred a deep desire within him to kill.
You.
He said, locking eyes with the sorcerer.
You'll be the last.
If the sorcerer could feel joy, it would soon experience fear. And if it couldn't, Jinwoo would make sure it learned. In a voice barely above a whisper, he commanded.
Shadows.
2 daggers materialized in his hands.
Come forth.
Solo Leveling, Chapter 89.
A sleek black sedan pulled to a halt at the roadside. From the vehicle stepped a man in dark sunglasses and a black suit. He was the head of the Hunter Surveillance Department, HSD, Woo Jincheol. Following behind him, 3 additional HSD hunters exited the car.
Chief, why are we stopping here? Weren't we heading straight to the association?
There's something I want to take a look at.
Woo Jincheol turned his gaze toward the distant gate.
No matter how often I see it, an A-rank gate is still terrifying.
The HSD chief's brow tightened in thought. If that enormous tear in space were to unleash the monsters within, just thinking about it made the A-rank hunter shiver.
Why would someone willingly go into a place as dangerous as that? And not just once, but for 2 days.
Even if Association President Go Gun-hee hadn't asked him directly, Woo Jincheol would have wanted to look into it.
We can't investigate him without his knowledge.
The him he referred to was an S-rank hunter. An A-rank hunter like Woo Jincheol couldn't hope to covertly observe an S-rank hunter without being noticed. Because of this, the HSD chief chose to take a direct approach to see what Jinwoo was up to. Since the HSD had another task in the area, he planned to use the excuse of passing by and offering his greetings.
That shouldn't come off as too strange, right?
If an S-rank hunter was willingly digging in the dirt, anyone would be curious to know why. Moreover, Sung Jinwoo was someone who had caught the interest of the Hunter Association, especially that of the president. It seemed President Go Gun-hee had taken quite a liking to Jinwoo. Lately, Woo Jincheol had noticed that the president would listen with both ears whenever Jinwoo was mentioned.
If anything, the unusual one isn't me.
Feeling intrigued was only natural, and it was normal to ask a few questions out of that curiosity. With that thought, Woo Jincheol approached an employee from the Hunters Guild.
Hello, I'm here to find the mining team.
Pardon me, but may I know who you are?
I'm from the association.
After confirming his identity, the employee gestured toward where the mining team was waiting.
They're just over there.
Thanks.
The 4 HSD hunters headed toward the mining team. Hearing they were coming, Team Leader Bae hurried out to meet them.
Wow, I never expected the association's HSD hunters to visit us here today. What brings you to our site?
Moments earlier, the miners had been relaxing, but now they looked tense. To any hunter, hearing HSD was enough to make them nervous. The HSD hunters handled awakened beings who couldn't be kept in line by society's rules or regular enforcement. They were the ones who arrested, locked up, and sometimes even disposed of dangerous individuals. And now, these HSD hunters stood in front of them.
What's going on?
It's the HSD.
Why would the HSD be here?
Something was definitely up. Curiosity drew the miners to gather beside Team Leader Bae. Woo Jincheol took off his sunglasses. He scanned the group, searching for Sung Jinwoo. Not seeing him, he turned to the team leader.
Where is Hunter Sung Jinwoo?
I knew it.
Suddenly, a man pushed through the crowd of miners. It was Lee Sung-gu, the same man who had tried to intimidate Sung Jinwoo the day before. He spat on the ground before launching into a tirade.
That guy turned around and looked at me with this grin on his face. I swear, his eyes felt like they could eat a person alive. Ugh, just thinking about it now gives me chills.
Woo Jincheol frowned slightly.
Eyes that look like they could eat someone alive?
What on earth happened? The miners started murmuring amongst themselves. Ignoring the chatter, Woo Jincheol turned to Lee Sung-gu.
Did something happen?
Oh, well, it's just...
The miners started to respond, then remembered he was the one who had tried to intimidate Jinwoo. He quickly waved it off.
That doesn't matter. I'm telling you, that guy's eyes were terrifying.
Woo Jincheol looked back at Team Leader Bae.
Where is Hunter Sung Jinwoo right now?
Sung-si is inside the gate at the moment.
Sung Jinwoo entered an A-rank gate while the raid was still ongoing. Woo Jincheol's eyes widened.
Why would Hunter Sung Jinwoo go into the dungeon?
Well, the team's porter didn't show up today, so Sung-si volunteered to go in as their porter. You know, it's kind of strange.
What's strange?
It's nothing really, but just now Hunter Cha Haein was also looking for Sung-si. When she heard he'd gone into the gate, she followed him in. It just struck me as odd.
Team Leader Bae tilted his head, puzzled. Hearing this, Woo Jincheol's mind began to race.
The Hunters Guild's deputy guildmaster went looking for Sung Jinwoo, and she even entered the dungeon after him.
What was going on here? Woo Jincheol had only intended to stop by and say hello to Sung Jinwoo, but things seemed to be spiraling unexpectedly.
Let's check out the gate first.
As HSD members, that much was within their responsibility.
We're going to take a look inside the gate.
Ah, understood.
As Woo Jincheol turned to head out with his team, Lee Sung-gu abruptly stopped them.
Hunter Nim.
The miner's expression was full of eager excitement.
That guy, Sung Jinwoo or whatever. Did he do something wrong? Like, seriously hurt someone? He really seemed like the type.
Woo Jincheol frowned deeply. Suddenly, he understood why Sung Jinwoo might have given this man a cold stare.
You look like you'd faint if Sung Jinwoo so much as sneezed in your direction.
Still, with so many eyes on them, he held back his reaction. An association representative couldn't just lash out or criticize a regular hunter. Moments like these made Woo Jincheol resent his official role. Doing his best to remain tactful, the HSD chief replied.
You'll find out on the evening news tomorrow.
Lee Sung-gu seemed pleased, as if that was the answer he wanted to hear, a smug look on his face.
See, didn't I tell you? That guy was clearly up to no good.
He didn't seem that way to me.
Yeah, seemed like a solid worker. Pretty dedicated.
Ignoring his teammates' lukewarm remarks, Lee Sung-gu stood proudly, convinced he had been right all along. Fed up with the man's attitude, Woo Jincheol gathered his team and headed toward the gate. Woo Jincheol instinctively stopped a few steps before the gate.
Chief?
The other HSD hunters stared at him in confusion. His face was tense.
What? This can't be right.
Woo Jincheol pulled out his phone to check the A-rank gate's recorded information. He was stunned by what he saw.
Why is the magic power level so low?
He shook his head, unsettled.
The measurement is off.
Not all A-rank hunters were on the same level. Woo Jincheol was among the elite of A-rank hunters, and his well-honed senses were telling him the magic power reading was wrong. He quickly turned to his team and gave an order.
Bring the magic power measuring device now.
Sensing the urgency, a subordinate rushed to the car and returned with the device. The compact device used by the HSD was far superior to the ones used by standard association employees. Crafted with a magic core worth $1 billion, it was almost never wrong in its readings. The device completed its measurement.
I was right.
The new readings were significantly different from the initial measurements taken by the regular association staff. If a guild had based its raid strategy on that first data, it could have led to a catastrophe.
Things should be fine since there are 2 S-rank hunters inside, but still.
Woo Jincheol reached down to retrieve the measuring device when, all of a sudden, the gate pulsed with a deep, intense tremor. This wasn't the same as a gate closing. It was a surge of intense magic power emanating from within. Even without Woo Jincheol's heightened senses, his team could feel the shockwave. Each one of them flinched, visibly shaken by the sensation.
Okay, Chief?
What's going on?
Woo Jincheol turned to the youngest team member, who looked pale.
Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
The man glanced down at the back of his hand, now covered in goosebumps. Woo Jincheol stood up.
We're going in.
Sir?
Are you saying we're going in there?
Woo Jincheol replied calmly.
Anyone who's afraid can stay back.
Only the HSD hunters here were aware of the discrepancy in the measurement. They had to get this information to the hunters inside. While monitoring hunters was part of the association's role, their primary duty was to support them.
No, I'll come along.
Let's go together.
Woo Jincheol gave a firm nod and turned to the youngest team member.
You, stay here and report this to the association.
Sir?
You're up to it, right?
Woo Jincheol patted him on the shoulder, and after a moment, the young man nodded with determination.
Yes, I'll do it.
The HSD chief turned his attention back to the gate. Just after that intense wave of magic power, an even stronger surge was now flowing out.
What on earth is going on in there?
With Woo Jincheol in the lead, the 3 HSD hunters plunged into the gate. A little earlier, Cha Haein was following the path the raid team had taken through the dungeon.
Strange. Why aren't there any magic beast corpses?
In a typical dungeon, she'd expect to see dead magic beasts all along the way, from the entrance to the boss's lair. Yet, she hadn't encountered a single body. Were all the magic beasts gathered somewhere else? With that question in mind, she kept moving.
Oh?
Finally, she stumbled upon some fallen magic beasts. As an S-rank hunter of the fighter class, she reached the site of the battle in an instant.
Unbelievable.
Her eyes widened in shock. The bodies were those of high orcs. High orcs were easily recognizable by their red skin and large protruding tusks, a clear distinction from regular orcs.
How did Son Gi-hoon's team manage to defeat this many high orcs?
And not only that, there didn't appear to be any casualties among the hunters. If there had been, the raid team would certainly have pulled out of the dungeon by now.
Have I underestimated A-rank and B-rank hunters?
Maybe, but as she examined the battleground, it looked like an ordinary skirmish between hunters and magic beasts. Then she paused.
What is this?
Cha Haein crouched down to get a closer look at something that caught her eye. Her eyes widened further. Standing up, she moved from one corpse to the next.
Here, and here, also here.
Her suspicion was swiftly turning into certainty.
How?
Could this be? Nearly every high orc corpse bore a wound from a small, sharp weapon.
The wounds aren't enough to be lethal, but...
They were more than enough to weaken the high orc's ability to fight, and it was clear that this was the work of a single hunter. In the end, all the other hunters had to do was finish off the severely wounded beasts. It was practically as if one hunter had single-handedly wiped out 20 high orcs. Moreover, she noticed 2 high orcs that seemed to have been killed differently. One had its head torn clean off by an immense force, and the other appeared to have died from a severe blow to the skull.
Aside from these 2, someone had methodically weakened the high orcs, making it easy for the other hunters to finish them off.
Could that even be possible? Although she prided herself on her speed, Cha Haein wasn't sure she could accomplish something like this.
Thanks for watching Solo Leveling on AnimeFan Narrations. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.